First at noon, an update on a brush fire burning in Mountain View on Hawaii Island. The Hawaii Fire Department says so far the blaze has burned 20 acres in the Fern Acre subdivision and is 70% contained. No structures have been damaged. Plumeria to Lehua streets were closed for hours but have since reopened. We're going to bring you any new updates on air and online at hawaiinewsnow.com as we get them. Also on the Big Island, even though the eruption is on pause, Kilauea continues to send volcanic gases into the air, leading to fog and poor air quality across the islands. State health officials say emissions remain elevated. Young children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions are especially vulnerable to the effects of fog and should avoid strenuous outdoor activities and stay indoors when possible. Closer to the summit, wind-blown volcanic glass known as Pele's hair and rock fragments and ash from the last episode continue to be a concern as well. Let's take a live look now at Kilauea, where Pele may be awakening once again. The Halema'uma'u crater is showing some lava activity after episode 18 paused last week Tuesday. The USGS is predicting that it could activate again in the next week or so, and another eruption means more fog in the forecast. Let's send it over to meteorologist Drew Davis with your first alert forecast. Drew?
Aloha, Ashley. Let's take a look at our exclusive fog forecast. You're only going to find this on air here at Hawaii News Now. Overall, we've got light winds out there throughout the rest of Monday and Tuesday. And we'll see a return to the trade winds by Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. But you can see the fog just sitting over the island chain as we're going into Wednesday morning. More southeasterly winds push the fog up towards Kauai. Again, of course, the highest concentrations of fog right around Hawaii Volcanoes National Park and Kilauea. And you'll start to see the trade winds return by the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, Thursday and Friday, blowing away the fog off to the southwest and improving air quality. Taking a good look at air quality right now, actually it's relatively nice across the state. Over on Hawaii Island, it's all in the green. That's true for Maui as well. The only area where we're seeing slightly lowered air quality is right around Sand Island, actually. It's classified right now as moderate. Over on Kauai, also in the green. Coming up in my full forecast, I'll give you another look at our fog forecast and also talk about the chance for some pop-up thunderstorms later this afternoon.
A busy day at the White House as President Trump prepares to sign 2 new executive orders, including one targeting sanctuary cities. The president is also marking his 100th day in office tomorrow, and it comes with a new poll showing sinking approval numbers. Erica Brown has more.
As President Trump approaches his 100th day in office Tuesday, his administration is showcasing his accomplishments, even as a new CBS News poll shows less than half of Americans approve of the job he's doing.
President Trump has already delivered on hundreds of promises he made to the American people.
On the White House North Lawn, the Trump administration touted its immigration crackdown with posters of people it identified as undocumented who were arrested for various crimes.
This is the police with a search warrant.
And over the weekend, DEA agents raided a nightclub in Colorado, saying they arrested more than 100 undocumented migrants and seized drugs and weapons. According to the CBS News poll, 56% of Americans approve of the president's program to deport immigrants who are in the United States illegally.
America's borders are now secure because of President Trump.
The White House, though, is facing questions about due process after 3 young children, all U.S. citizens, were removed with their mothers who were deported to Honduras. Border Czar Tom Homan defended those removals at the White House Monday.
If you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position.
Homan said the administration has carried out approximately 139,000 deportations since President Trump returned to office. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Here at home, an update now on a teenage boy who was attacked during a confrontation in Ewa Beach. He remains in critical condition at this hour. Police say the victim was hanging out with some friends Saturday night when they were approached by another teenage male and his friends. The approaching teen challenged them to a fight, and when they refused, they were chased. During the time, the suspect allegedly hit the victim in the head with a baseball bat. EMS crews rushed the victim to the hospital.
I hope the person that got struck by the bat wasn't severe injuredly, hurt. When it comes to the kids, I think they just need to be properly raised, and hopefully there's people that would guide them.
According to HPD, the suspect and his friend immediately left the scene on their mopeds or electric bikes. An attempted murder case is now open. If you have any information on this, call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. The search continues for a Hawaii Island man after his kayak was found drifting in the water. 42-year-old Jared Williford was last seen at 8 yesterday morning as he launched his kayak off the Kilauea boat ramp. But 2 hours later, Good Samaritans reported the kayak unmanned 400 yards offshore. Williford's truck and trailer are still at the boat ramp. He was last seen wearing orange bib pants. Now, the Coast Guard and the Hawaii County Fire Department are part of the search effort. If you have any information, please call the number on your screen. Well, here's a live look now from St. Peter's Square in Vatican City, where the process to choose a new pope will soon be underway. Cardinals are holding meetings in preparation for next week's conclave. Ty Thompson has more.
The Sistine Chapel is closed this morning to prepare for the election of the next pope after a weekend celebrating the life of Pope Francis. In the majestic setting of St. Peter's Square, a funeral for a man who wanted to be remembered simply as a pastor. 250,000 people crowded the square and spilled into the streets, most just pilgrims. While near the altar sat the powerful, including President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the two also meeting privately at the Vatican. At the funeral, all heard the Dean of the College of Cardinals praise Francis as the man who spoke for the voiceless, especially migrants and refugees, recalling the Pope's phrase to build bridges, not walls. Across the ocean in France's hometown of Buenos Aires, the Archbishop moved to tears at a Mass for the Pope. Then Rome said goodbye to Francis, who was also its bishop. A final ride through its streets in the Pope-mobile to his burial site inside the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore. A respectful atmosphere as cardinals prayed, while outside a festive feeling. These Brazilian nuns applauded Francis' attention to those on the edge of society.
His joy, his openness.
The wait Sunday, 2 hours to spend seconds in front of his tomb. Ushers telling the crowd to move quickly and men to remove their hats. For Cincinnati's Karen Dime, it was overwhelming.
Just what Pope Francis meant to the world, a very moving experience.
Today, the city of Vancouver, British Columbia, is dealing with the aftermath of a deadly crash that happened at a Filipino festival this weekend. Police say 11 people were killed and dozens injured when an SUV rammed into the crowd. Dana Griffin is in Vancouver with the latest.
Vancouver police say the suspected driver entered the festival area from here on East 43rd Avenue. Behind me, you can still see the food trucks, tents, a lot of debris in the middle of the road from when that SUV came plowing through. Investigators have arrested the suspect. He is 30-year-old Kai G. Adam Lowe. They say he is a Vancouver resident, and they have had interactions with him in the past, specifically related to his mental health. Officials say this is not an act of terrorism, but obviously, this has really hit the community very hard. This was a Filipino celebration honoring heritage and culture and history. The victims range in age from 5 to 65. So far, 11 killed, dozens more injured. Some of the victims still have not been identified. It's unclear if the suspect entered a plea. He appeared in court yesterday. He is now facing several counts of second-degree murder. Now, officials say they conducted a risk assessment prior to this event and determined there was no need for additional police officers or dedicated police officers and vehicle barriers, but they are now reassessing if there was more that could have been done to prevent this tragedy. I'm Dana Griffin, NBC News.
And the tragedy has touched Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi. In a statement, he said, quote, "Here in Hawaii, where the Filipino community has such deep and cherished roots, we feel this loss profoundly. We stand in solidarity with the people of Vancouver during this time of immense grief." Well, this week, some Honolulu landmarks will be lit up in red to honor our fallen firefighters. Light the Night for Fallen Firefighters is an annual nationwide effort to honor the fallen and their families. Sadly, this year's commemoration hits close to home with Honolulu firefighter Jeff Fiala, who died battling a house fire in January. The Neil S. Blaisdell Arena, Honolulu Hale, and HFD headquarters will stay lit up through May 4th. Residents are also encouraged to join in and light up their homes in red as well. In Wailuku, a blessing ceremony was held ahead of construction for the Halau of Oiwi Art, the first government-funded hula center in Hawaii. Leaders say it's long overdue, creating a permanent home for the practice, study, and celebration of hula. Construction officially begins today at the corner of Church and Vineyard Streets with the $53 million project designed to honor Hawaiian culture and connect the community for generations to come. And Thursday is Lei Day, May 1st, when we celebrate the legacy of lei making in Hawaii. The city will hold an all-day celebration in Kapiolani Park. Events begin with the Royal Hawaiian Band in the bandstand at 9 in the morning. The lei court will be presented at 11, and various halau and music groups will perform until the event ends at 5 p.m. There will also be several lei, craft, and food vendors.
Electric vehicles are growing in popularity, but charging them isn't always easy depending on where you live. I'm Natalie Brand with a look at some of the roadblocks and advice from EV drivers.
Also ahead on This Is Now, after taking home the Big West Championship title, the Rainbow Warriors men's volleyball team now has their eyes set on the NCAA tournament. What seed and what opponents could the Bows face in 2 minutes? Welcome back. Now to video you need to see. Take a look as a speeding powerboat flips through the air before splashing into Lake Havasu in Arizona. It happened during a competition as the boat was trying to set a speed record. It was going 210 miles per hour before going airborne. Now, the 2 people on board suffered some broken bones, but are expected to make a full recovery. Electric vehicles are growing in popularity, but finding a place to charge them can be difficult depending on where you live. States are trying to build out their EV infrastructure, but some roadblocks have slowed the progress. Natalie Brand has the details.
Andy Fraser is so committed to driving electric, he pushed Montgomery County, Maryland to come up with a policy for home chargers on public sidewalks like the one in front of his house.
There's no going back right now. The faster we get there, the better it is for the planet.
Fraser occasionally even lets friends and neighbors charge at his home while the infrastructure catches up.
What we're doing is we're driving to a level 3 charging station.
Nationwide, an estimated 6 in 10 urban residents live within a mile of a public charging station, but that number drops to around 41% of suburbanites and just 17% of rural Americans.
How long before you think that charging an electric vehicle will be like, a regular gasoline vehicle?
We're still not there, but we're growing rapidly on the demand side.
Joe McAndrew is an assistant secretary of Maryland's Department of Transportation. Maryland ranks in the top 10 of the most EV-friendly states according to a 2023 survey, with Vermont, California, Massachusetts, and Colorado leading the way. The bipartisan infrastructure bill passed under the Biden administration provided around $7.5 billion to build high-speed chargers at least every 50 miles. But the Trump administration has for now paused future funding for states, saying the program needs major reform.
It might slow us down, but we're also pretty confident that the funds will show up.
Fraser, an EV enthusiast, concedes driving one can take more planning.
There are great apps out there. They'll tell you where to stop all the way along the road, but it's not as convenient as a gas car.
A fact the electric vehicle community and state leaders hope to change as they accelerate the fight against climate change. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Kensington, Maryland.
After taking down the nation's top-ranked team to win the Big West, the UH men's volleyball team learned their seed and potential opponents for the upcoming NCAA tournament. The Bows drew the 2 seed in their return to the Big Dance. They'll face the winner of the opening round game between Damon and Penn State. Now that match kicks off the tourney on Friday. The number 1 seed this year was the team that UH just beat over the weekend, Long Beach State. The Bows are trying for the 3rd national title in program history. Hawaii's quarterfinal match will take place next week, Thursday, May 8th in Columbus, Ohio, and the title game is set for Monday, May 12th. Hey, Drew.
Go Bows. Stick around. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at our first alert forecast. Light winds and fog continue over the next couple of days, and some chances for rain this afternoon. Well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Taking a look at our first alert weather headlines, we've got light winds and fog over the next couple of days. And due to these light winds and a very, very weak frontal boundary, we're going to be seeing a chance for rain throughout this afternoon. I actually want to talk about that. You can see in our hour-by-hour forecast. Taking a look outside, you see a little bit of cloud cover over on the leeward portions of Oahu, 83 degrees outside. Seeing slightly impactful weather. That's going to continue throughout the rest of this afternoon. We've got a chance for some showers, and we're actually starting to see that on the first alert radar and satellite. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder and overall unstable air mass around the state. Breaking down the overall weather pattern, you can see that very clearly in our first alert futurecast. Going forward throughout this afternoon to around 2 p.m., you see showers over each island. Of course, this is going to be popping up each afternoon due to daytime heating. As it's warming up, the atmosphere is going to be pushing some air upwards, and that's what builds those thunderstorms that we could be seeing. Going throughout the rest of this evening, you kind of see that weak frontal boundary. This is Tuesday morning around 4 a.m., so still some moisture out there. A similar story Tuesday afternoon, pop-up showers and maybe a rumble of thunder or two. And a quick look at our surf and shoreline forecast. North-facing shores around 4 to 6 feet, west-facing shores around 3 to 5, small in town around 1 to 3, east-facing shores around 1 to 3 as well. And just breaking down your first alert radar and satellite, just zooming in across the entire island chain, you can see a little bit of green out there. Not too much moisture right now, but we are seeing that frontal boundary just off to the north of the state. It's very, very weak right now, but let's zoom in island by island. This is over on Kauai. Not too much going on, but a few sprinkles maybe in Mauka areas and a little bit of cloud cover. Moving over to Oahu, that's where we're starting to see those pop-up showers. A few over in Kilauea, Waipahu, and Wahiawa, seeing a few rainfall, a little bit of drizzle out there. Most of these are going to be short-lived, and again, this is going to continue throughout the afternoon. These pop-up showers that we see when it gets to be the hottest part of the day. Some rainfall over Lanai and over near Kaunakakai as well. Maui relatively quiet, and Hawaii Island relatively quiet as well. Here's just a quick look at our VOG forecast again. VOG is going to be sitting over the state over the next couple of days. These light winds that we're seeing right now, and that's going to continue going forward into Wednesday as well. This is around 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning. And then, of course, a quick look at our first alert air quality. Overall, air quality is not too bad right now. The only area that we're seeing slightly lowered air quality is actually over in Sand Island. They're reporting moderate air quality compared to the typical good air quality. And here's just a quick look at our first alert 7-day forecast. You can see Monday and Tuesday, those pop-up showers and a few rumbles of thunder are possible throughout the rest of today.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, the world's first half marathon where humans race robots. We're going to take you to Beijing after the break. News Now. A race to the future kicking off in Beijing. It's being billed as the world's first humanoid robot half marathon.
Featuring machine versus man, racing to finish the 13.1 miles. Janice Mackey-Freyer has more on this.
In the race to develop robots that are smarter and faster, a test of sorts, pitting 12,000 runners beside 21 humanoids along a 13-mile course billed as the world's first half marathon starring machines.
Unlike the human runners here, the robots have a choice. They can have their batteries changed or just lie down.
While many of the human counterparts stopped to take selfies, the robots trailed from the outset. Some of them barely got started. One with propellers went out of control. Others fell apart, laying bare the challenges that still confront the industry here. That more than 20 robot companies participated shows that robot tech in China is pushing forward quickly, said the team leader for the winning humanoid. Tiangong finished in 2 hours, 40 minutes after 3 battery changes and 1 fall. We met Tiangong before the race.
He's saying hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah.
In a demonstration of what the company calls embodied intelligence that plants smarter AI into a more durable body with legs that function like human limbs over varied terrain. Next generations can look more lifelike with silicone skin, hair, and facial expressions.
What's your name?
The idea for humanoids to do jobs ranging from manufacturing and home repairs to companionship and caring for the elderly.
For a lot of people, this might be freaky. How do you get humans to accept robots as a fact of life?
We want robots to feel more real, says Wei Jiaxing, so people feel more comfortable around them. There's been a huge push behind humanoid robots in China. Videos of them dancing, performing, or doing kung fu have gone viral on social media here. China's government and state media promoting the industry as the next big thing, like the campaign behind Chinese electric vehicles. In this race, designers were urged to get creative. They screwed on sneakers and tracksuits or took off heads and fingers to minimize weight and overheating.
The CEO says it's not about winning, it's about testing the batteries, which are the core technology here.
Seeing them up close is way different than seeing them on TV, says this runner of the only half marathon where the also-rans got all the attention. At 74, these new things can open my eyes, she says. Ultimately, only 6 of the 21 competing robots survived, proving perhaps that people haven't completely lost to technology quite yet. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Beijing.
The future is here, Drew.
It really is. It's crazy seeing all of the dancing robots.
I know. I don't mind if they look like robots, but those human ones,
yeah.
no thank you.
Kind of scary.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody.